This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. Welcome to Quality Time, the KO Koala Entertainment Podcast. Anthony and Skylar will take it from here. Master Chief, out.
Welcome to Quality Time, the KO Koala Entertainment Podcast. My name is Anthony Nicolosi.
And I'm Skylar Sokol.
And today, we're talking...
It finally happened. Early. Anthony wasn't even ready for it.
The data miners had some, they were sniffing around. Fucking Pringles had an accidental, It wasn't even on purpose. They just wanted to launch this Pringles Halo trailer, and it lined up with the release date, and so everyone was like, "Fucking Pringles is saying it."
Pringles.
There were some leaks, there was some speculation, but indeed, by surprise, I didn't super know for sure because I was at work.
Because Anthony took the next day off, not the day of.
Any inclination it was really, really going to happen, I definitely would have taken a day off.
Right.
We're talking Halo. Halo Infinite, the multiplayer has dropped. For those who are living under a rock, Halo Infinite's multiplayer was supposed to release alongside its campaign on December 8th. They shadow dropped it on Monday, November 15th to coincide with Xbox's 20th birthday, which is also Halo's 20th birthday because it released with the original Xbox.
Woo!
And we have, I'll be honest, the way I would sum it up, I thoroughly expected myself to play a lot of it. I have. It's fucked up my sleep schedule. It's fucked up my whole life because I'm so addicted and enjoying it so much. Did not expect to be playing it as much as I have been with you in the game.
Yeah, I was going to say that maybe the more unexpected thing is that I currently have 9 hours in the game as well. I think you probably have closer to maybe 15, but 9 hours is longer than my average for most games I play. So that's hype.
Yeah, I think it was, the fact that after we did the initial big team battle day, there was a second day where we played, and I was like, oh shit, okay.
And today, Sean and I on the ranked grind.
Yeah, 7 games into ranked, 5 and 2. Yeah, keyboard and mouse. So Skylar, how are we going to approach this?
I hate when people do first impressions videos and they beat around the bush for an hour and then give their overall opinion. So I think first we're going to give right now, no thinking, 1 to 10, what is Halo Infinite for you?
14.
Okay.
Okay, how about you?
Okay. I'm trying to. I didn't define the scale well. Is a 10 the best game I've ever played? Is a 10 BioShock Infinite, or is this relative to this genre?
I would say you enjoyed it equivalent amounts to BioShock Infinite if it's 10.
Then I would say right now, before I played ranked today, I would say it was probably a 6 or a 5. But since ranked, it's probably closer to a 6.5 or a 7.
Cool.
I actually ranked changed a lot of my opinions of how much I enjoy the game.
And to be clear, we haven't mentioned it so far. The way we're planning on talking about this is this podcast is going to center around our first impressions, which is maybe going to be a little light on some, design speculation, ways we maybe could brainstorm ways we'd like some things to improve or get into details of the design. This is more just our first impressions. We'll have a subsequent episode talking about that other stuff.
Exactly. Maybe with Sean on it too. Yeah. Basically, we're just going to rattle through a bunch of different topics and just talk a little bit briefly about how we've experienced them, what we think about them. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to hear your insights on how these compare to previous Halos too, since I definitely don't know anything about that. So I think first, let's just start with the most obvious part of the game: the shooting, the gunplay. Not necessarily the individual weapons. Let's save that for for second. Let's just talk about, is shooting fun? And I personally think it's actually pretty fun. And I normally like low time to kill shooters, so that definitely takes away from it a bit for me, but as I play more, I recognize more of the strategy, and it's become more fun, the shooting.
Yeah, right. Halo's got, because of the long time to kill, you've got this story to get really fucking, poetic on you. Like, there's a story to every gunfight. There's a joust, and you've got really, we'll get into the weapons as you said later, but it's not necessarily a whatever gun you're holding versus whatever gun you're holding. You've got the grenades, the melee, the armor abilities. Like, there's a lot of things that kind of are working alongside the gunplay to create the holistic experience. But I agree with you. The gunplay, I'm enjoying the fuck out of it. Quite frankly, I'm thinking about, while there are a couple of weapons where I'm not super in love with them yet, this is definitely the best gunplay, the most enjoyable gunplay I think of any Halo.
Wow, that's a big say. I think for me personally, the one thing I don't love about the gunplay is how important melee is. Like, your goal essentially in a gunfight is to melee the person, and to shoot shots until they're in melee range and then melee them. At least that's what it feels like at the level I'm playing at, and in Twitch streams I've watched as well of people playing.
No, melee is a huge part of the combat. I mean,
especially with like people jumping around and like meleeing you in the back, and like that shit's annoying as fuck.
The original Halo designers, right? Like, Halo was designed around what they called the golden triangle, which was melee, grenade, and shooting. So they all are supposed to sort of work in unison, kind of together for that combat flow. Armor abilities was something that was introduced later, and we'll talk about that, how those feel in relation to that triangle. But that's fair. You can think, like, I personally feel that at some of the maybe it's a rank thing, like melee is still present always. It's not like it's not present, but you definitely get into more, like, I feel a lot of times, especially against good players, you don't even make it to them.
I see.
Because their map presence / their communication with the team makes it very difficult for you to surprise melee him. If you are meleeing him, it's because they made a strategic choice to push a stronghold and try and be in there, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But very rare that you're kind of constantly, if you're getting meleeed a lot, they're usually like shitting on you at that point,
Yeah. I would say, though, with that design intention in mind, that's really interesting. I do think they succeed at meeting that triangle where gunplay, melee, and grenades all feel basically equally important and equally as strong in the situations where they're good. It's strong. And so if that's their design philosophy, I do think they are succeeding for sure.
Right. Yeah, I was curious. Is one of the things that are we going to talk about melee? Should we roll into melee?
I think that's sort of what we're talking about, I guess. Yeah.
One thing that you immediately checked upon playing the original build is the melee range decreased from the flight, because it was fucking like you could lunge across the damn, cavern and hit somebody. The range was so huge. It has been decreased, and
there is still a lunge, though. In retrospect, I hadn't seen the lunge. I've seen it since then. There is one, but it is definitely smaller than it was in the flight.
Yeah. Given the fast, strafe movement you have relative to everything else, I was curious as to whether they'd be able to pull it off, or if that was going to be like an unfortunate side effect of the strafe movement.
Sure.
So I'm happy it got better. Is I guess what I would say.
Also, BXBs are gone. May they rest in peace. They were really fun, I will say, but they were horrible for the game.
Yeah, there is this BYB. I don't know if you saw it in the Halo chat, in our Discord's Halo chat, which, by the way, if you're listening to this and you're looking for a Halo group, join our Discord. We have a Halo group, kind of all talking, chilling, playing together. The BYB does let you get off 2 melees a little faster than the normal 2 melees, and it's also, you have to be a lot more precise executing it. Fucking BXB, you could literally just be like,
mash.
BYB, yes, and you're just running around the fucking map
yeah.
So yeah, gunplay, personally for me, totally loving it. There are some exceptions on certain weapons, but we'll get into that.
No, let's go. Okay, before we get into armor abilities, let's talk weapons. Can you name every weapon in the game? You think you're a true Halo fan? Name every Halo Infinite weapon.
I think I could probably get close.
All right, well, let's try. I'll pull up a list just so that we don't miss any. But let's just do a quick first impression of every weapon.
How we're feeling about him?
Yeah.
I would, first of all, holistically, or the sandbox, the weapons in the sandbox, I am enjoying the roles they have. I feel like a few of them are maybe coming up a little short on the roles they're trying to fill. But generally speaking, I appreciate that even though it leads to occasional like mental mental breaks of like, I expect this gun is gonna, like the Ravager. Okay, so for example, concretely,
all right, starting
you
with the
talk about
Ravager.
Ravager's the big red guy shooting out big red goo with the little
Can
knife
also
on the
charge
bottom, right?
it for the
You can
big
charge
shot.
it up, right? If you charge it up, you shoot the floor, and there's this area that's on fire and it hurts people. So I swear, also this thing's been a little tweaked since the flights, but what I observed was just that I was putting fucking like 5 shots into somebody and they were still alive.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Me too. Same thing.
Then I started paying more attention, and I'm like, the thing that was really blowing my mind was the fact that once their shields were low, they were still staying alive. And so I started thinking, okay, maybe this is a plasma gun thing.
Really minimal non-shield damage.
Yeah, it's meant to take down shields, and then you're supposed to swap to your secondary and take them out. Went into training drills and tried it, found that to be true. So what I would say is my first impressions were like, what the fuck's wrong with this gun?
Yeah.
Like there was a little mental disconnect there of like, what was, like I said, just when all of a sudden you just take out all of their health, and then it takes you forever with this big like chunky plasma goo gun. It's like, what's going on? It feels broken.
Not very intuitive at all, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of strategic aspect, which I haven't even explored a little bit, the shooting someone with a gun to remove their shields and then switching kind of strategy, I think is interesting, but like it's not intuitive, at least from a new player perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that new player.
Oh god, I'm so ready. You'd have no idea how ready I am to complain about UX. But first, let's talk about the assault rifle. For me, well, also, I guess I'll say something about the Ravager. I think the Ravager is cool and interesting and has like a unique place with like the area denial sort of aspect. That's not really like, that's more of like a grenade roll in Halo, but this has a different sort of feel. I think that's cool. And maybe if it does like a lot of damage to shields, it might be good enough already, and we just haven't explored it correctly.
Right. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling too.
Yeah. So, assault rifle, how are you feeling? I feel like an assault rifle is one we got to compare to previous Halos to understand
In my opinion, I think this is the best implementation ever of the assault rifle. I think because the closest one, in my opinion, would probably be the very first Halo CE. I thought that was probably second best. Halo 5 had what I think is too strong of one.
Okay.
Like you could fucking like zoom in with this shit, and it was like you could do some stuff.
It was basically this like battle rifle light.
And automatic.
You know? Yeah, fair.
So it was the final version of Halo 5 rank settings did not include it. The assault rifle was gone from rank play by the end because of that. So I would say this hits this good medium of effective, but not too effective. I think in Halo generally the design intent of the utility weapons, which quite frankly has not really been the case, as I think this is the Halo that does it the best, that you're supposed to want to go around the map and find more weapons, right? Like that the weapons you start with shouldn't be like what you want to use all the time. And honestly, that's kind of how Halo has been. It's like, I have my battle rifle as a starting weapon, which you do in ranked, and I just like, it's so good, I'm just going to keep it. Like,
in ranked, I rarely switch weapons unless the only weapons I've switched to are power weapons or like the heat wave, essentially.
Right. No. Well, and so that's how like competitive is played. And I would say that that kind of gap between like a strong utility weapon in Halo, primary strong utility weapon, and the rest of the sandbox is like always existed. So I think the assault rifle hits this nice medium of effective. It's not trash to have like the Halo 2 fucking SMG, which was fucking trash. And at the same time, it's not so powerful I feel like I need it all the time.
Now, I'll say, from my perspective, at least in my observation, I feel like the assault rifle for me, I really don't like. I feel like it's unfun to use and feels really bad. And I think it might be a keyboard and mouse versus controller difference. Because I noticed the people, like, I think with aim assist, you have a little bit better time being accurate with the assault rifle, which is already a very inaccurate weapon. So it might feel better. But for me, like compared to the sidekick, like I literally have no reason to ever shoot the assault rifle unless I'm out of ammo.
I see. So you actually think the assault rifle feels pretty like inaccurate.
I like literally don't even shoot it because it feels like it does nothing.
I think that could be the controller input difference, because it feels really good. Like, for example, there were previous Halos, like 3's version of the assault rifle, where it was so weak that it felt like it was inaccurate. Like, it was is my shit even hitting?
Maybe that's how it feels. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure whether it's an accuracy problem or a damage problem.
No, yeah, meaning like just for keyboard and mouse, maybe you're experiencing something like similar to that. I'll say right now, for controller, it does not feel that way. It doesn't feel laser like Halo 5, but it definitely doesn't feel inaccurate.
Okay.
All
right. We let's pick up our weapon review pace. Otherwise, this will be an hour-long podcast.
Battle rifle.
That matters. Sidekick first. Let's just go because we're in the casual modes. You get assault rifle and sidekick. I, at least in casual play, have loved the sidekick. Now that I'm playing ranked and I have the battle rifle, I'm understanding how actually not that good the sidekick is. But compared to the assault rifle, the sidekick feels so unbelievably good to me that like I thought it was amazing for so long.
They did something. So I agree. I really like the sidekick. It's got this teeny little bit of bloom that will punish you for just totally spamming it.
You got to be a little bit methodical.
Yeah. But it is still very satisfying to like just shove some shots in and close deals out. It feels nice to switch to. Love the reload on that thing. It's just like fast and
I also really like the range. Like
good range.
It's got long range, which is very satisfying.
I will say, okay, and this is maybe a kind of spicy take. I feel like it's easier to use on controller and mouse than compared to the flights. Like they somehow buffed it a teeny bit. I'm not gonna say I hate it now, but I appreciated how it was before, and there was something enjoyable. A lot of the controller people complained that and the sniper were like too hard to use. So my guess is that somehow they buffed them just a tiny bit. Yeah.
I will say it feels like I don't have to be as accurate with the sidekick to hit shots. So I don't know if that's part of it. Maybe it has a little bit of a leniency.
But overall, love using it. Do generally run around the map with it. So
now, battle rifle.
I love it. I mean, like, it's the best battle rifle we've had since Halo 2. I mean, there's people out there with Halo 3. MCC did patch the Halo 3 battle rifle and made it better. This one's fucking awesome. This is like the best battle rifle we've had in a long time. I think it's really interesting that somehow the time to kill is equivalent to Halo 3's time to kill, and somehow Infinite is way faster, and it works. Like, I don't know if it's because of the fact that you are faster and you can you can maintain the sight lines of, and keep your shot on the player easier as well, and that's why it works. But I was interested. I was like, is it gonna? I don't know. It somehow it works, and I've been really enjoyed using it.
I really didn't like it when I first started playing casual. I was like, this gun feels like it never hits anything. But now that I've played 7 games of rank, I really like it. It's probably my favorite gun to use in the game.
I'll also drop.
I'm a sucker for burst fire weapons. Actually, I really like using burst fire weapons in shooters, so I really like it.
Does the heart good to hear? Yeah, I mean, one thing for people who are playing or listening to this, so Halo's got shields, yes. And the battle rifle's a 4-shot kill. Now, people should know the first 3 shots do not have to be at the head. They can be body shots. So if you put the first 3 shots on the body, and then the last shot does need to be a head for it to be a 4-shot kill. So you can take shields on at the better hitbox, if you will, of the entire body. And then once you pop that shield, then go for the head. But if you're always going for the head, all 4 shots, you're bound to miss them, you know? And so, anyway.
Nice tip.
Pro tip.
So now, maybe one of the shittiest guns in the game. You know which one we're about to say?
Commando?
The Commando.
Fuck the Commando, man. Like, so I have seen the reception to the Commando be so divided. You like either hate it, like are very unhappy using it, or you love that shit.
There are people who love that shit?
Oh, there are people who are like, this is like the best new gun Halo has introduced since whatever. So like,
damn.
I think the thing I'm starting to find with it is that I should not use it close range.
Yep.
If I'm close range, I should be using sidekick or assault rifle, something else.
Yep.
Even if it is automatic, at least on controller, your aim assist goes way down when they start getting into like mid to close range. Mid to like mid far-ish range. I don't know how to say that. Like not totally long range, but halfway to long range from mid range. If you pepper it, so if you get some of the first shots off on it, the bloom and the vertical recoil is manageable enough that you can like somebody. And I have used that effectively in battle, in big team battle at times. And it is nice to have like against a fucking wasp who's flying around. It's a little more oomph, whatever. But oh my God, the bloom and the vertical recoil make such a fucking shit show. Once you get past like that fourth shot, like after that it starts pulling away and getting bloom so crazy that you have situations where you're like on the guy's head and you're not hitting shit.
Yep.
And you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
that guy holds down his assault rifle button and just kills you with the assault rifle.
Yes.
Yep.
So
shit tier.
I do not like
just
the commando.
Say shit tier and we'll move on to the bulldog.
I do not like the commando, and I am starting to understand where it should be used a little bit, but
never is where it should be used.
I'm just like, I'm not going to get anything. If I'm running past a weapon thing and I see the commando and I have my assault rifle and sidekick, I just keep running, baby.
Yep.
Like, I'll pick that shit up.
All right, bulldog. Bulldog, I haven't had that many opportunities to use it because I've mostly picked it up in big team battle, and I don't get into that many engagements where it feels good. But, like, I don't know, it just feels like a shotgun. I don't think it feels like anything crazy.
So I really enjoy it. It is a big delta from the previous Halo shotgun implementations, I'll tell you. Usually, the Halo shotgun implementations is like when you get into close range, it's a one-shot kill. And this, even if you're in close range, is at least 2 shots, I believe.
And the article I'm looking at says it cannot one-shot kill in this game, yeah.
So that, and it shoots more quickly. I personally am really enjoying that change up. And it's got like some wicked range, honestly. I'm hitting some stuff that's like in assault rifle range with the bulldog at times. And that definitely did not used to be the case with previous implementations of the Halo shotgun. I'm not really considering, for the Halo people who are listening to this, the Halo 5 shotgun variations, which were fucking wild. Like one you could like almost like fucking snipe somebody with this damn thing. But I'm not talking about those. The base shotguns for Halo, really enjoying the mix up here with the bulldog. I'm finding it fun.
All right.
I go for it.
All right. Now on, you get 1 sentence per gun. You ready?
Okay.
Because we have so many left. Sniper rifle. I think it's fun. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. It's a sniper rifle.
The changes they've made since the flight are good ones. Nice. I enjoy it.
Rocket launcher. I mean, it's a rocket launcher. You blow people up. Shit. It's satisfying as fuck.
Yep.
I tried to rocket jump though, and I killed myself, and I was sad. Hydra. This one might need more than 1 sentence, but I hate this gun. I figured out at least the first firing mode that locks on. I still have no idea what the second firing mode does, but it locks on, and I hit people like 5 times. I hit vehicles like 5 times, and it doesn't kill the person or the vehicle, so I don't understand.
I'm pretty fucking sure doing it in training, because I had the first impression of the Hydra, especially coming. So in Halo 5, the rocket like locking onto people was like so powerful. Imagine the current implementation where you lock on, right? Uh-huh. You would hold the lock, and then you would like look over here to be able to like direct the missile like around something at people. It was really unique and really cool. And like with 2 shots, you would kill somebody. Uh-huh. So I came into this game, and I have the Hydra. I'm like, this thing is fucking not doing anything. Its locking mechanism is not as powerful as the Halo 5 version. And I'm in weapon drills, and it's taking me like 4 shots to kill this thing.
Right.
So after doing the weapon drills, what I feel like is like, okay, at least now I kind of see, I have a better idea of when I would want this thing based off of its weakness. This shit is not taking out a vehicle.
No,
that shit is
no
not.
Chance.
It will do some damage to a wasp, for example, if you hit all fucking 5 shots. I don't think it's going to take out that wasp, even with the 5 shots.
We need to see something more from the Hydra.
Hydra needs a buff, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That thing needs a buff.
Pulse Carbine. I've used this. This is the one that's the 3-shot or whatever blue burst.
The
right?
homing, yeah.
Yeah, I've
plasma
never
one.
felt the homing, but maybe I've never used it from the right range. This gun feels fine.
Meh.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
So I'm a big fan of the plasma. So I feel like the Pulse Carbine has a place in the same range as the Commando.
Okay.
And so
that's why I hate it.
I picked that guy up.
Okay.
I'll pick that guy up. For
Anthony
those
will pick it up.
counter.
All right,
I
Needler.
will pick it up.
Needler, I've always liked the Needler. I feel like the Needler is like a fan favorite weapon just because of its design is so cool.
But I will tell you, like the Halo 3 version of the Needler was trash. Like you couldn't kill shit with it.
This one feels okay.
This one feels good in my opinion. It's not so OP like the Halo 5 one, for example, which was a death sentence if that thing was aimed at you.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's still powerful. It's still good.
So I think now this is the only weapon in the game I've never used, which is the plasma pistol, ironically enough. I've used it in previous games, but I don't think I've ever picked it up in this game.
So the defining characteristic of the plasma pistol is it takes out shields. Right?
Yeah.
The noob combo, you charge up the plasma pistol, you take out shields, you switch to your other gun, and you clean them up. That's the noob combo. I have not actually ended up using it a ton in this latest build. The last flight, I felt, and the community gave a lot of feedback that 343 responded to, that the tracking was not needed a buff, and apparently it has been buffed, but I can't say that I've really given it a fair shake in this one. So I'll say for now, outside of that, in the last flight, I was really happy with the implementation. So good.
All right, yeah, fair enough. I need to try it. Energy sword feels like an energy sword. Like
I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I don't. In Halo 5, you could do this like zoom up that would give you even more increased range. You don't have that, which is good. Feel like the range is good. It's fun to use. Yep.
Yeah, it's the sword. Gravity hammer.
So I like
smashing
where they
shit is
ended
fun.
up. I like where they ended up with the gravity hammer, and you get some physics effects which weren't present in the flight, meaning like shit kind of like blows up now.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Yeah.
I like that there's a sort of swing that has to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes it feel more balanced. Like you have to plan
just like
it.
boom, like in Halo 3, you just like would pull it out and just immediately slam that shit.
That's a good balance change. All right. Now another contentious, well maybe not that contentious gun is the Mangler. I'd killed one person with the Mangler before today. In one ranked game, I snuck up on two people who were not looking at me and killed them both with the Mangler. Still took like 3 shots each, but like
correct. It is so I'll say my first impression, my very first without doing the training drills was like, what the fuck is this gun doing? Like, when do I use this thing? It's not clear how much damage it's doing by just shooting somebody in big team battle.
The crosshair is like weird, like
yeah, I kind of like that crosshair. It's like kind of like a staple or some shit.
Yeah.
After doing the weapon drills, can confirm, to your point, it is a 3-shot kill. I have started now with that knowledge, because now with the understanding of the pacing of the shots that it gives you and knowing that it's 3 shots to kill, I've actually been going for it and having success. It's actually pretty fun to use.
I think it's fun. I do think it's fun, and it's satisfying to shoot. So
fucking brute nail gun, baby.
Yep. All right, the Disruptor, probably the second least used gun I've used. I heard from Sean that the shots ricochet, and that's the big thing that we didn't know.
Oh, do they ricochet? I don't know if they ricochet.
It's the Disruptor, or some gun has ricocheting bullets that we didn't know.
That's Heatwave. That's Heatwave for sure.
Maybe it was the Heatwave. No, they zap nearby people is what
correct.
He says. Yeah.
So what I evaluate, I didn't really understand what was happening, but yeah, the blue shotty pistol, the Disruptor. In the training drills, you can actually see this emo's. But after, like, if you put in 3 direct shots into somebody, a charge builds on their person,
and then it hits
and if you do 3 shots in the training drill where you're not playing and they don't shoot you back, what you can actually see, it's damaging them passively after you do the 3 shots.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
So you like build a charge on
damage.
So
over
what
time.
I have been trading out the sidekick for the Disruptor when I find it, and just been using it as my pistol. Because it's like a pistol plus the charge.
I'll try it. Yeah. Stalker Rifle.
Big fan.
This gun's fun. You zoom,
I
you
like
shoot.
that gun.
It's very simple. It's like a very clean, simple design. That's fun.
3 shots to kill. Yep, I like it too. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Stalker Rifle.
Yeah. The Ravager. I don't.
We talked about that one.
Oh, the red one. Right.
Yeah.
The skewer. I fucking love the skewer. I wish I could use it in ranked more. I haven't seen it yet in ranked, but that gun is so satisfying. Probably maybe the most satisfying gun to use from a hitting someone perspective.
It's fun to fucking blow up vehicles with it. Like, it's a great gun, and the fact that it's not trivial to use, especially against other players.
Right, it's hard to get a hit.
It's hard, makes it even more satisfying when you land that shot.
Yeah, that gun is
the sound and everything.
It's so good. Yeah,
it's good. Yeah, the Raptor's great.
Shock rifle. I think I've only shot this gun like twice.
And
I mean it. I didn't. It
it
felt like a worse sniper rifle or a worse stalker rifle. Like, I would rather be using the stalker rifle.
I feel like if you get too, like, because what it seems like is like the shock rifle. I need to do the training drill with this thing, but it looks like it's like two like streams of electricity.
Yeah,
or like
it's not clear.
Yeah, and so I just haven't clicked with it yet. I've been getting shit on by it a couple of times.
Yeah.
So my guess is that I just need to try it out a little bit more. I wouldn't say I don't like it, and I give it a try. So the verdict's still out on the shock rifle.
More too. The heat wave. This gun, holy fuck, is so fun. The vertical shot, two-shot kill. Like,
it's so sad.
Picking it up in ranked is so good. It's one of the few guns that can like compete with the battle rifle really well.
Yeah, and in ranked in those smaller 4v4, I really like it in 4v4.
Yeah, in arena, it's so good.
In big team battle, at times it feels like the places it works in big team battle are the same kinds of places a shotgun would work, I guess, is the way I would say it. Right. So I agree with you. In 4v4, I really like the heat wave. That when you vertical align it and you land it, it's the same kind of satisfaction in my brain. It's like when you stack up like 7 Cheez-Its and you put them in the back of your mouth and you're just like, huh? It's that like, it's like perfectly aligned.
Yes.
I agree. It's
so
very
fun.
And it's cool that you can do that alternate shot and just like clean up, you know?
Agreed. Sentinel Beam. What do you think?
So my initial thing when I first used it, the shot the gun like recoils on you and like doesn't immediately. So it's like that.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, my gut feeling is this is a gun that you're supposed to want to try out as you get better at this game, almost like its place was. And I have come to actually really enjoy it. When you get it down and when you hold it, that's like
very satisfying to hit someone with it. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's actually my favorite version of the Sentinel Beam out of all the Halos.
Sick.
Because they previous ones were easier to use, but they were also weaker. So I felt like they buffed it and made it harder to use, and it's more satisfying.
All right. So last gun, the Cinder Shot. This is like the homing grenade launcher thing. It's confusing to use, but I think it looks really cool. Like the shots look really cool.
It does look really cool. I will tell you, at first, I did not understand it was a grenade launcher.
No, it's like so confusing what it's even doing.
Somebody grenade launched me, and I was like, oh, this is a grenade launcher. And since then, it's pretty fucking cool. And one thing I didn't realize until doing the training drill, if you do the training drill, I think level 2, where they're just the bots sometimes just stand there, or maybe it's level 1, they just stand there. And you have 2 bots that are standing far away like this. If the projectile bounces and let's say explodes kind of in between them, not enough to kill either one of them, it actually pulls them towards the explosion.
Yeah, it has a little bit of a pull. Yeah, I noticed that when I was getting shot by it.
Which is kind of cool.
Also, apparently, according to this article, it has the alternate fire mode converts the grenades into laser-guided micro missiles.
What?
Where when you fire one, it will fly to wherever your crosshair is pointing and can still bounce. I had no idea this was a thing. Apparently, this article claims it's a thing. We'll have to see.
Wow, that's sick. I always take the Cinder Shot if I see it.
So try it next time.
Yeah, I'm going to.
All right, that's all of our weapons. That was a long thing. Let's get into maybe we won't go as deep, but let's talk about armor and movement abilities, because that's a big addition to this game, right? The additional abilities.
So grapple hook is fantastic.
So fun.
I absolutely love the implementation, how it interacts with the sandbox, meaning like you can, pull weapons and objectives to you and shit. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like you can hijack vehicles and shit with it. Like I love that shit.
Repulsor? I think the repulsor is like
I
the
love
second.
the repulsor.
If grapple hook is number 1, I think repulsor's number 2. It just has
two.
so much versatility. I got fucking repulsored off the map like 3 times by some dude in ranked, and I was like, "Fuck, this guy is a god."
And the other. So one thing 343 just recently said is that one of their design goals for Infinite was when you were the victim of the armor abilities, it should be fun. Like meaning you should be like, ha. Yeah, I got repulsored off.
I think the repulsor succeeds at that.
I agree. And I think the grapple does too. Like if I'm like in a vehicle and somebody grapples me, I'm kind of like, oh, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Now, those two, fucking love them.
Above and beyond all the others, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Not talking about overshield or active camo, because those are sort of special. Those are fine, right? Like,
what do you think about the fact, I don't know, maybe this doesn't mean as much to you, but in previous Halos, they weren't equipment, meaning you would run
you can
over
activate
the
them
overshield
later.
and it just,
right. I've been trying to take advantage of it, but honestly, I end up waiting to use the overshield and then dying before I remember that I need to use it. But like, I've been trying to keep that in mind, and I think I don't think there's any reason to give the player less versatility with these items, right? Like, it's cool that you can do that.
I think it creates an interesting dynamic. And the only thing that's kind of like annoying sometimes, but I think is a meaningful trade-off is like if you have the grapple hook, you need to switch it out.
You have to lose
and then kind of like activate it and then use it. I think I like that. Personally, I think it makes it interesting because it also encourages maybe don't do that and have your teammate do it. You know what I mean?
So
anyway.
Now the shitty ones. Thrust like feels like it could be so fun, but it's so fucking wimpy, dude.
Oh, you think it's wimpy?
It's
From
so
what perspective?
wimpy. It just feels like I want it to feel like a double jump, and it doesn't at all. It feels more like a.
Well, it's a horizontal thrust.
Right, exactly.
And you want it to be a vertical thrust,
I guess, or have some verticality to it.
I see. So yeah, this implementation of thrust, part of the reason why I really like it, I forgot about thrust. It's not, I don't like it as much as grapple and repulsor. It's still a step below, but it's definitely a few steps above them. The next ones we're going to talk about. This version of thrust is like a slightly nerfed Halo 5 version of thrust.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can use it in some of the similar ways you could use thrust in Halo 5. So like generally speaking, if you're in a gunfight, especially like in ranked with 2 battle rifles and you're strafing back and forth, jumping is usually a death sentence in that joust because it's predictable. But if you have thrust, that can be a game changer.
It's just hard for me to imagine why you would ever want thrust over grappling hook.
I would probably also take, if I had the option, I would take the 2 for. Grappling hook.
Right, exactly. So I understand like it's there to be another one, but that's the only thing. So now drop wall, and what's the other one we're missing?
Threat sensor.
Threat sensor. So I haven't really used the threat sensor much. I've never seen it in ranked, so I don't even know if it's in ranked. But
I'm not sure either.
But yeah, the big team battle, I mean, it's fine. It's whatever. It just it needs a wider AoE, I think, to be useful.
That's what I was going to say. Threat sensor in big team battle has not been super compelling for me.
Yeah.
The area needs to be bigger. And this is going to be related to my input on drop wall. I feel like threat sensor could be a lot more effective in a close range 4v4 map. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, I agree. That's why I would be interested to try it in ranked. I feel like in ranked, it could play a really interesting role, sort of an area denial role in a different way that could be very cool.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That plays into the drop wall, which the drop wall is so shit in big team battle.
Big team battle that it's literally useless. Like I don't know why it exists.
Run away from it, right? Like because what I don't want to happen is I accidentally run over it and it takes up my equipment slot, and then later I can't pick the grapple.
You don't hold it next time and forget.
I'm like, get that shit away from me.
Yeah.
I do the same with threat sensor, but I'm less pissed if I accidentally pick it up.
Yes.
It's just okay. Then, with that in mind, in big team battle, in ranked, I was watching some of the pros use it, and even though it's weak as fuck, it makes a big, huge difference at that level between just a couple of shots.
2 shots makes a big difference, right?
Yes. So I can respect it a little bit more in the ranked context.
Have to see in ranked, yeah.
But in big team, it's fucking awful.
Yeah,
Get that shit away from me.
They should change it. They should make it way bigger in big team or stronger. Just to
maybe make like a banished, version of the drop wall,
that's
which
like
is more
powerful. Or some shit. Yeah, like, that would be sick. Okay. That's all of our armor and movement abilities. I guess just really quick, we have so many topics to go through. Maybe we won't get to them all. But do you like the addition of armor and movement abilities to Halo? How do you feel?
I think this was a great way to evolve Halo's sandbox, comparative to like the previous version of Halo 5, where all of these abilities were baked into the player.
Yep.
So meaning you always had thrust, you always had ground pound. That just creates all of the map, all of the sandbox design considerations have to account for all that shit.
Right.
And so this, by making it pickup based, it makes it first of all it gives another like layer to the whole, controlling power weapons. Now it's like controlling armor abilities and armor ability spawns. That's a new wrinkle in the strategy. For competitive especially, but it's also it lets the sandbox and the map design just be in light of not have to consider all that shit all the time, right? Yes. If one of those things is going to break, if a grapple hook's going to break this map, just don't fucking put a grapple hook,
right.
And include something else instead. And I don't know, I think it's a big reason why this particular Halo Infinite feels modern but also old. Classic at the same time. I think is because of that decision.
Interesting.
What about you?
I think they're fun. I have a lot of UX problems with them that really makes me dislike a lot of aspects of them, that if those were fixed I would be a lot happier. I'll talk about those.
Do we roll into UX?
So I think what we should do is we should roll into UX just because I'm very hyped to talk about it, and then we should do a part 2 first impressions to cover the rest of these topics next week. And then we'll do a deep dive the following week, since we don't have Sean next week anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about for today, I will tell you guys, here's a quick list of all the other topics we're going to talk about next week. Movement, vehicles, game modes, HUD, UI, maps, audio, music, customization, battle pass, net play, lever management. We got a lot. But for today, let's just talk about UX for a little bit. I think the UX and onboarding in this game is one of the worst of any game I've ever played. Like, genuinely. I think it is horrible. I am like pretty surprised that it's this bad.
Now, one thing I asked you about at work, you can expand on for the audience, was the inclusion of Academy and the weapon drills. How do you feel? Yeah, what do you feel? How do you feel about those?
I think that's horrible. Like, why can't I go into one mode and it teach me all the guns? Like, what? Why do I have to go into literally load into an individual map to learn each gun? Like, just give me a mode that's like weapon overview, and I just go in and all the guns are there. I can pick any of them up, just use them real quick, and it'll give me a thing. Also, I was informed by Sean that in the weapon drills, when you pick up a gun, it gives you a 1-sentence like quick summary of that gun. Why does that not happen in the actual game, especially in the casual modes? Like,
yeah, I think expand on that, because you also mentioned something else while we were playing that, as a Halo fan, I just never thought about. But like from a UX perspective, let's say you're in a match.
Yep.
You pick up the Ravager for the first time. What do you want to see?
I want to see like something pop up on the side that's like, this is what the Ravager does, and like a little like 1-sentence summary of what it does, short blurb about its main fire, a short blurb about its alt fire, and then like a button to dismiss that prompt permanently or like temporarily, right? And you can just choose, do you want it forever, or do you want to see it next time or not, right? And then you just get that for the first time.
Or just maybe came up for 5-10 seconds and went away or something.
Right. That too. I prefer like being able to dismiss them permanently if I don't want them anymore, but also I might still want them. Who knows, right? Like, I think having that option is cool. But I would expect something like that. Like, it's crazy. And not only that, but you can't see the name of the gun like easily necessarily when you pick it up. It's there, but like, why isn't it
there?
I think it hovers over the gun when you're close or something. But like, for learning the weapons, that makes it so hard. Right. And when you have it, it doesn't say the name of the gun, I don't think. It's just the icon.
I think on the bottom it's just the icon,
which is crazy to me.
We'll get into the UI next time.
Yeah, the only other UI thing I want to say is with my problem with the armor abilities. They never, like, it's impossible to tell what they are without memorizing their, like, little pack symbol. And then once you have one, it's still impossible to tell what you have unless you memorize all the icons.
The little icons?
Yeah, I, like, look and I'm like, I have no fucking clue what this is. What do I have?
How would you solve that?
With words?
Just with their name? Because, one thing, like, historically, I think it was Halo 5, some of the things in the UI were communicated via words and not icons. And I always thought, like, this is how I feel. I think words does a good job first, but then long-term icons I prefer. Because, like, I create the association and I can read an icon faster.
Yes. I think that's true. So I'm not sure how you would transition someone to that. Maybe you would give them the option to transition to that or something in the menu.
Yeah, it was interesting to play with you and Sean and just a few others who, like, they don't play Halo. Like, in fact, it's been maybe almost a decade since the last time I played a Halo, right? Or more.
Yeah.
And that new player, yeah, you guys were like, every gun you picked up, you're like, what the fuck does this thing do? Like, right. And yeah, that's that makes sense.
And, like, I don't want to have to go do, like, 3 weapon drills for every gun in the game that I have to individually select in order to learn the guns. Like, that seems crazy to me.
Yeah, so as a Halo fan, one thing I would say, I don't have all of these same issues because used to the sandbox, I play the fucking fly, I read all the dev logs, whatever. I watch the Halo YouTubers, but so with that in mind, I actually think the Academy and weapon drills is like one of the best things Halo has done for new players in a long time. Because imagine previous Halos, it's like the problems you have now, except there's no weapon drills or anything at all.
And I guess for me, like, the weapon drills seem so like something I don't want to do that it basically feels like they're not there.
Yeah, that's like, they still come across as like tutorial-y.
But not in the way I want. Like, I want a quick overview. I don't want, like I said, I don't want to have to load into a drill for every gun in the game. Just give me like a 1-sentence summary, right? And I'll be happy. Another thing relating to this, there's nowhere to go to get this summary. Like, I go into, except for the weapon drills. I would love if I could go into the customization screen and go into one of the weapons and get a description. I looked there. Give me, like, stats on the damage. Give me stats on what the gun does. Like, why is that not there right before the customization screens? I don't understand. Like, that should just be there. It should be easy to get that information. It shouldn't be hidden behind, like, an entire mode you have to load into.
Yeah. No, I was, some of the things that as we were playing, I can't really remember them off the top of my head. You guys were mentioning some things that I was like, yeah, the Halo community probably wouldn't want that because it involved, like, giving away more information than, like, generally speaking, not provide, like, the ability to know when certain things are going to spawn or information about certain map, placements for weapons and whatever is a strategic advantage in the game. And so generally speaking, Halo fans sometimes resist some of those kinds of things. But the things you're calling out right here, I don't see any reason why they can't exist.
Right,
like,
these are just helping new people to understand aspects.
Yeah,
of the game.
Like, if you go into the cosmetic items and then if you go to the Hydra, why can't it
just have the description, right?
Yeah.
I will say
how many shots to kill, if it's a Ravager, say, this is great at depleting shields.
Right.
Maybe
and this is what its left click does. This is what its right click does.
Yeah.
Primary and alt fire. I have to forget that everyone's not a mouse player. I also think, so I didn't realize the scan existed until you mentioned it, and I've been using it more today, and I think it does do a good job at solving the, like, spawn position problem of, like, weapons and stuff. It helps a lot, and I think it's a fine implementation for that.
And I will say this in Halo Infinite, the weapons that spawn on the map are spawned in these, like, weapon lockers.
Right.
Which is even, I think, a better UX for new players compared to what Halo historically has, which is like a gun will spawn leaned up against the wall somewhere.
It's hard to see. These at least are always the same looking thing.
I'm a big fan of the progress bar on the top that tells you, like, when it's going to spawn next.
I still haven't noticed that. I still haven't been able to see that. I've been looking. Like, when I go up to to a
You don't see the
vehicle.
blue bar?
No.
Like, sorry, what I'm talking about specifically is like if you are in, if the those like weapon lockers on again on the wall.
Yeah, and the gun is gone.
And the gun is gone. There are like 3 different states that locker can be in. If it's in a state where it's like red, that means like it's not coming anytime soon.
Yeah.
And then if it turns blue, there's like and what I mean by that is like, let's say it's a battle rifle weapon locker. In that weapon locker, you have this like digitized outline of the battle rifle, which at first is red if somebody has just pulled it.
Okay.
And there's like a red progress bar, and then it turns blue.
I've
as
never
it gets
seen
closer.
a progress bar. I've looked. I don't know.
It's
Maybe that's crazy. I've looked for it, like especially on the vehicles.
It's like right there.
On the vehicles in Big Team Battle, when there's like a blue warthog there, I like run up to it and I expect some sort of progress bar telling me when it's about to spawn. I've never seen one.
I don't know about the vehicles. I haven't paid attention. I do know that like for the grapple shot, if it's on the floor, it's a circle, and there's a little blue circle that's filling up.
Have not noticed that either.
Yeah.
I like. Oh no, I have noticed that one.
I
have noticed that one. That one's good. But I like. Why is there not just a timer? Like that would be so much more clear.
There are timers for power weapons.
Right.
I'm not sure if I would want like the UI noise of like fucking timers.
Well,
everywhere.
only if you go up to it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe from a certain proximity, it might be nice.
That's what I mean.
Have
that would be cool. But are you saying the progress bar is from any proximity?
I mean, you have to be able to see it.
But then, yeah. Okay, I need to look for it because I have not seen it.
The ones like, especially on the floor, are not necessarily super easy to see from far away. Like you kind of have to be in a, I'm gonna pick this up probably kind of range.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to take a look and see if I can see it. But yeah, I haven't. Anyway, it's just like. It's very weird to me, and Sean brought this up the other day, and this is an interesting point. Maybe their intention, right, and the normal intention of Halo is you play the campaign, and that's really where you learn about a lot of the elements of the game normally. But in this case, we have the multiplayer before the campaign, so there's not like a fun, non-drill oriented place to learn about the game.
Not a bad point. In the campaign, you definitely have moments where like Chief picks up a new weapon and Cortana's like, this is the whatever the fuck, blah 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 blah. Looks like you can shoot it, like that's definitely a thing in the campaign. So yeah, it's an interesting point. I mean,
I wish there was like a smaller thing like that was there now, like just like a quick thing where it would just let me pick up every weapon and tell me what it does.
We'll get into this next week when we talk about some of the elements like the progression system and stuff. But Halo Infinite's multiplayer is the first time Halo has tried some of this stuff. And based off of some comments from a small group of Halo content creators and collaborators that worked with 343 on Infinite, it's saying there were 343 made comments to them along the way that they're called the Forerunners. This group would provide some feedback and have these assumptions of like, oh, you're doing the progression system this way because like, big companies like you have these motives. And they're like, oh, we don't like we just never done this before.
We just have no fucking clue what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. We just didn't realize you would think that X and Y. And
I don't know how they didn't realize a lot of these things, but apparently they did.
It could be this, right? Like, it's like if the users you test with are Halo fans, maybe you're missing some stuff,
right?
Especially if you're 343 and you're like, we got to nail Halo Infinite for Halo fans,
right?
No,
totally.
I think this would be a great thing to like ask Jessie when she comes on again. Like, was that maybe some amount present there where you want to make sure you do right by Halo fans so well that there are some elements you might have accidentally kind of missed or
right?
I mean, at the same time, I don't know. There could be like this great training mode that they were going to release and fucking there's a bug and it didn't.
No, totally, exactly. Or they originally intended the campaign to be like the train, right? Like who knows? Like, yeah. And these are things I can forgive, and I would hope that they make improvements to in the future. But they seem receptive to it, so we'll see what happens moving forward. But yeah, I say we save Marcus's question for next time, and we just call it here.
Okay.
So where can people find us?
You can find us at koalaentertainment.com. There you have links to all of our social media. Well, actually, there you have a glorious webpage that you can click on, get information about Agora, get information about our Discord, how you play the idle game. that contributes towards our tri-weekly giveaways. So if you play our idle game, you get to level 6, you're automatically entered to our tri-weekly giveaways. We're actually about to roll a winner after this podcast.
That's right.
And so come in, join in. It's really easy to enter.
Oh God, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Continue what you were saying.
There are Halo fans in there, so if you're looking for people to play Halo Infinite with, all our Halo communities in there with a lot of big Rocket League, Minecraft, all kinds of people enjoying Forza Horizon. If you're looking for people to join in and win some stuff while you're at it, get more information about Agora, our single player physics FPS for PC and Xbox. They're on our website as well, and get links also to Patreon if you want to support us that way. We're on our road to trying to get to $150, I think, a month support from the patrons. The ones who are doing so far, fucking awesome.
Yep.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
We are also just launched holiday merch. So if you're looking for some Christmas, some Hanukkah merch, we got some for you.
Some Hanukkah,
some shirts, some sweaters, some stickers, all kinds of goodness there, and Koalaween. Like this cool koala,
branches,
branches.
Yeah, it's cool
Design going away at the end of November. It's 15% off through the rest of November if you want to pick one up, especially some of those like champion sweaters and hoodies. They're nice quality. I mean, I like the shirts too. They're really cool. Yeah. They're cool. Nice. You see me wearing them on stream. Thank you so much to everyone who supports us that way.
Thank you. And
thank you.
I mean, we could have never expected the Halo First Impressions podcast to not be long as fuck. So we'll see you next time for the second 40-minute half, and then you'll know our first impressions, and then who knows how long our design discussion will take. But I don't think people mind hearing Anthony talk about Halo. It's his favorite game ever. Like, we want to hear it.
I will also just end it with saying I'm personally pretty grateful for Infinite coming out. I feel like although it's fucked up my sleep schedule so bad, right? Like, finished streaming the other night at 11 to 30 after 1.5 hours of streaming. I did a couple of weapon drills, and then I was like, yeah, I'm going to play some arena. I fucking one more gamed until 2 a.m.,
The classic.
So one more game syndrome is back, and even though I'm sleeping less, I'll tell you, I feel like refreshed mentally. Maybe it's because I'm like my brain is actually like committing to an enjoyment of something, in a way it hasn't for a while. So great job 343 to all of our friends there and whatever. Like, you guys did great. Thanks for building a fucking cool Halo. And
it's awesome.
Phil Spencer, well done delaying this shit. What a fucking call on that one, Mr. Phil. So anyway.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Talk to you soon.
Woo!